So imagine this. You're sitting in an audience, Alex Hormozi is up on stage and he's speaking. Then he calls on you and you had to just admit to a room full of peers and entrepreneurs that you can't hit your business goals. Not because you don't have the vision, not because you don't have the market, but because you don't have enough people. That's exactly what happens here in this video. A law firm hiring 4 to 5 attorneys per year. Alex Hormozi looks directly at you and says, you need to 20x that. Now here's the thing. I 100% agree with Hormozi, but what he doesn't tell you is how to 20x your hiring. So that's exactly what I'm gonna break down for you in this video. I'm gonna show you the exact system that I would use to help this law firm, or any business for that matter, 20x their hiring capacity. Because honestly, most businesses just can't do this alone. It's not because they don't want to, it's because they're thinking about hiring completely wrong. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what it takes to scale your hiring process like the top 1% of companies do. Now, if you're new here, I want to say first, thank you and welcome. My name is Jared Black. I'm the founder of New Vine Employment Group. Over the last decade, I've successfully hired more than 10,000 employees across 300 plus businesses. And on this channel, I break down actionable recruitment strategies that help business leaders just like you attract and hire top talent without the guesswork, without the costly mistakes, and without the years of trial and error. So let's talk about why most businesses just can't 20x their hiring. It's not because they don't have the budget, and it's not because the talent doesn't exist. It's because of how they're thinking about hiring in the first place. You see, most businesses treat hiring as a reactive task, something that you do when you're feeling desperate or you really need to hire somebody. Someone quits when a project is about to blow up, or when you're so underwater that you can barely function. Then you start looking. Think about it like this for an example. Hiring when you're desperate is kind of like being a salesperson with no pipeline, no CRM, no leads, and you're just standing outside your office asking people who pass by to be your customer. No outreach, no nurturing, no system, just pure desperation. I know you would never run your sales process that way. So I ask you, why would you run your hiring process that way? See, the thing is that most businesses just don't realize that proactive hiring, the type of hiring that lets you scale to 20x, it requires setup. It requires bandwidth, systems, process, infrastructure. None of that shows up immediately on the bottom line. So most businesses just choose not to invest in it. They see it as unnecessary overhead. They treat it as something that I'll get to eventually. But I'm here to tell you, if you don't build the infrastructure first, you can never scale your hiring. So let's go back to that law firm, for example. They're hiring 4 to 5 attorneys per year, and they want to 20x that. So that means that they need 80 to 100 attorneys per year. Let's say their offer acceptance rate is 50%. And that means that they need to make 160 to 200 offers. And if only 25% of those candidates make it through their process to begin with, that means they need to interview 650 to 800 employees per year. Can you do that by posting on Indeed when you're desperate? No. Not even close. Oh, and by the way, if you're sitting here wondering where you are in your hiring process and if it's broken, I've got a free tool that you can use. It's called the Hiring Success Scorecard. I'll drop it in the link below, but it'll show you exactly where you stand and what you need to fix first. I'll share more on that towards the end of the video. So let's talk about the shift that you need to make. You need to go from reactive hiring to proactive hiring. Now, reactive hiring looks like this. Wait until you're desperate, post a job, interview whoever applies, hope one of them works out, cross your fingers, and then repeat when the person quits. Proactive hiring looks like this. You're always recruiting. Your pipeline is always full. Your systems are always running. And when you need someone, you're not starting from zero. You already have 10, 20, 50 people in your pipeline that you've been building relationships with. So when the role opens up, you're not hoping that someone good applies. You're choosing from a bench of pre-vetted, high-quality candidates who already know your company, respect your brand, and are ready to say yes. That's the difference. So let me break down the exact system that I would build for this law firm or any business who are looking to 20x their hiring capacity. There are 5 core components that you need to focus on. Step 1, you want to build a talent pipeline that's running 24/7. You need to stop thinking about hiring as filling a role, and you want to start thinking about it as building a bench, which means you should always be in conversation with top talent, even when you don't have openings, even when your team is fully staffed. Because what most people fail to realize is that the best candidates, they're not waiting for your job posting. They're already employed. They're already successful. And the only way you're going to get access to them is if you've been building a relationship with them over time. So how do you do this? Well, you create a system for staying top of mind with your high quality talent. That means regular outreach, content that attracts them, networking in the same spaces that they already exist. You're not hiring them for today. You're building a relationship so that when the time comes, they say yes to you and not somebody else. And here's the thing, for that law firm to hire 80 to 100 attorneys per year, they need to have an active pipeline of 500 plus qualified candidates at any given time. And I'm telling you, that doesn't happen by accident. That's infrastructure. Step 2, you want to shift from hiring full-time to hiring outcomes. So you really need to rethink what hiring even means. Most businesses just default to, we need a full-time employee, but full-time isn't the only model. And frankly, it's not always the best model. So I want you to consider bringing in fractional talent, contract-based roles, project-based hires, or even retaining consultants when you need. This is how you 20x your hiring capacity without immediately 20xing your payroll. So you bring in the expertise when you need it, in the capacity that you need it, in a structure that makes sense for your business. And as your revenue grows, you can convert the right people into full-time employees. But you're not waiting to scale until you can afford 100 full-time salaries. You're scaling now by being flexible with how you hire. Step 3, you want to systemize your process. What I mean by that is you need a repeatable process. At scale, you can't rely on gut feelings, and you can't have the founder or the CEO in every single interview. You need systems. So here's what those systems look like. First, you need a process for candidate discovery. How are you sourcing people? What channels? What messaging? What criteria defines your ideal candidate? So this is where you can define your ideal candidate profile, not just your job requirements, but the traits, the behaviors, and the mindset that predict success within your company. You also need a process for candidate evaluation. What are the criteria? What are the questions that you ask? What are your deal breakers? And this is where structured interviews come in. Same questions, same order. You want the same scoring criteria for every candidate, so you're making a fair comparison. Now, you also need a process for candidate grading and ranking. I'm talking about scorecards and a structured evaluation. This is objective criteria, so you're comparing apples to apples and you're not just going with whoever felt right in the interview process. This will remove any biases and will ensure that you're selecting based on data, never on emotion. And then next, you need a process for candidate outreach and engagement. How are you nurturing relationships? How often are you staying in touch? And lastly, what value are you providing before they ever apply? This is a long game approach, staying top of mind so when they're ready to move, you're the person that they call. Here's where this gets so powerful. All of this, everything I just went through, can be fully automated. There are so many great tools and AI softwares out there today, and really, automation tools like N8N or Make can handle a lot of the heavy lifting through most of these tasks. Within our business, for our clients, I've built a custom AI-powered recruitment system that integrates AI with our team of expert recruiters. It's not just random automation or agents running wild. It's a coordinated strategic workflow. This is where AI handles candidate discovery, and they do this across multiple sources, and our recruiters then validate and refine those results. Then AI performs the initial research and scoring, and then our team adds on the human intelligence layer that only they can and technology really can't replicate yet. So for our clients, candidates are moving through discovery, evaluation, grading, ranking, and outreach in a very seamless process that's both scalable and smart. And by the time a candidate reaches our client's desk, they've already been vetted through multiple touch points without a single person being the bottleneck. That's leverage, and that's how you scale. In addition to that, you should also have branded company assets. These are things that get distributed to your talent pipeline to keep the bench warm. I'm talking about culture videos, company updates, thought leadership content. So even when they're not actively looking, they're thinking of you. That brings me to step number 4. You want to leverage experts who live in the hidden talent markets. You need to accept the fact that you probably can't do this alone. That law firm in the Hormozi video, they can't personally source 100 attorneys per year. They don't have the time, they don't have the network, and frankly, it's probably not the best use of their energy. So you partner with experts who already have access to the talent pools that you need. Find recruiters with deep domain expertise, people who live in the hidden market where the best candidates exist. Now, this isn't about outsourcing your responsibility. It's about leveraging expertise so that you can move faster and smarter. Because at scale, speed matters. And the companies that win are the ones that know when it's time to build in-house and when it's time to partner out. And finally, step 5, you want to invest in infrastructure before you ever need it. Now, this is the hardest part because it requires you doing something before you ever need to put it in practice. That means you need to create onboarding processes, training programs, role clarity, culture documentation. You need to create systems for how new hires will ramp up, integrate, and then start contributing into your business. Because here's the thing. That law firm can't hire 80 to 100 attorneys per year if they don't have the capacity to absorb 80 to 100 attorneys per year. You can source all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the infrastructure to onboard them, train them, and set them up for success, then you're going to fail. And then you're back to square one. Now, this is the part that most businesses skip because it doesn't immediately show up on the bottom line. But that's the difference between scaling successfully and collapsing under your own growth. Now, let's be real for a second. This isn't easy. That's why most businesses just can't do it. It does require upfront investment. It requires time, it requires systems, it requires bandwidth. And a lot of that investment doesn't really immediately show up as ROI. But here's your payoff. Once the system is built, you can hire on demand. You're no longer hiring out of desperation. You're no longer reactive. You're now proactive, and that changes everything. You see, the law firm's real problem isn't that they can't hire 80 to 100 employees per year. It's that they don't have the infrastructure to support it yet. And until they build that infrastructure, Hormozi's advice, while accurate, is impossible to execute. So here's what I want you to do. If you're a business leader and you're trying to scale your hiring and you realize that you do need a system, not just more job postings, I want you to start by taking the Hiring Success Scorecard. It's completely free, takes 2 to 3 minutes, and it'll show you exactly where your hiring process is broken and what you need to fix first. You can find that link in the description box below. Building a system like this takes time, expertise, and resources. If you have the bandwidth and you have the knowledge and you can build it internally, great. I want you to start building that today. But if you're short on time or you'd rather leverage a system that's already built and proven, that's where we can help. You can book a discovery call with myself and my team, and we'll walk you through how our AI-powered recruitment platform works, how it integrates with your existing processes, and whether partnering with us makes sense for where you are in your growth. No pressure, just clarity. That link is also in the description box below. If you want to see what happens when you don't have a system in place, I want you to watch this video right here next, where I break down the real cost of making bad hiring decisions. And I'm going to tell you, the numbers will shock you. If you got value from this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.